Hello everyone, it is the build-up show, Liverpool versus Salzburg in the Champions League. Steve, James and Ross join me for this one. Steve, the first European night at Anfield as champions of Europe in quite some time. I cannot wait.
I cannot wait either. I remember the one in 05, 06. It was a bit special, wasn't it, coming back knowing again. That was a bit different because we had those stupid qualifiers, but the first time, back in the group stage as the champions of Europe, it is special, it's amazing, it should be an occasion to be savoured, It's almost, I don't know if you agree, it's almost become a little bit of a forgotten match, almost, for some. But it's a big game, the homecoming champions of Europe.
Do you know why I can attest to that?
Because you done the agenda for
that. Because I wrote the build-up agenda for this thing.
I've got the wrong agenda, so I'm in the same boat as that. It's massive. It's because the final was enduring, because we played so many games and the season's well underway, I still think there's a moment there where we should be able to celebrate this, properly, like the homecoming, first home European game as the champions of Europe. It should be a big occasion, and I hope it will be, because Liverpool need it to be a joyous occasion, if nothing else.
The Liverpool famously actually paraded the FA Cup ahead of playing Inter Milan in the European Cup, I think back in the 65 it will have been. I wonder, James, Jurgen's been very keen for us all to move on from Madrid. He said, I think we're done now. Can we stop talking about it? Blah blah blah. Would you, if it was up to you, this game, would you bring the trophy out before this one?
Yeah, why not? Why not? It gets the fans up for it. Do you know what I mean? Like kind of one of the. I do get what Jurgen's trying to say.
I'll have it on the bench. Every game.
Suspended from the Friday.
I do like kind of get what Jurgen's trying to say though, in a sense of like he doesn't want to just keep boasting about that, because he literally just wants to keep going. He wants to keep achieving more, and he doesn't want to just hold on to one trophy for years to come. He wants to keep just adding to that and adding to that. But if it was me personally, I would bring it out, because it gets the fans like, oh yes, like that's our sixth European trophy, this is a big moment, you know what I mean? And then also, just based on the fact we didn't have a great start in the Champions League, it kind of just allows you to forget about that and goes into the game with a bit of positivity. And yeah,
it's like dangling the carrot, isn't it, of going, do you want another one?
Yeah.
I have some of this, it's an incentive for everyone, but like not also like a welcome back to the Champions League. Last game we had there was Barcelona.
Yeah.
Just carry on from that.
Yeah.
That'd be nice.
But as soon as you said, like, back at Anfield, I can already hear we are the champions of Europe. Yeah. That is going to get sung for 70 minutes probably, because and that's enough to keep the players going in that sense.
Like Ale didn't really come out much in the away end at Sheffield United at the weekend, and I wonder whether there's I think like we're now developing European songs and home songs to some extent. But Ross is right, Steve. It's going to be a massive atmosphere simply because of all those things. And I had a question I posed, and this is going to be a good test for this. Probably slightly less so because it's the first home game back at Anfield in the European Cup. But I'm fascinated to see how the atmosphere is this season against teams that we feel we should be beaten. Because it's one thing to get up for Barcelona, but it is another thing to get up for Salzburg.
What I would say is that the home league games against I was at Newcastle, which was that early kick-off, or was it 2 o'clock or something?
Yeah, that was there.
I was saying I was there, I can't even remember what time I was there, but it was good atmosphere there. Again, it was against the relegation side on an earlier kick-off. So I don't think that's been an issue for a while, actually. Ever since Leicester in the league at the end of last season when it was snowing and everyone was down in the dumps, I think it's been really good. Even against anyone.
Bayern Cop did the big rallying cry for the Bournemouth game.
And I think since then it's actually been quite good. And I think it helps when the team are boss. Like it's dead easy to support these lads. They've all got their own songs now, which helps as well. I think because you can get, as soon as Bobby Firmino does anything boss, there's 5 minutes sorted, like straight away. So I think it'll be good, and it just shows where this might sound so mad, but like I've been to home European games, even in Champions League, where it's been a bit down, and you knew going in, this is going to be a little bit naff, but it won't be. I think it'll be sound.
Sorry.
Naff.
Yeah. What's naff?
Naff. Clap, right?
Yeah, I didn't think anyone other than my mum still used that expression, but carry on, that's fine.
Listen, you swear as much as you want, sir. I'll be the highbrow section of the show.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah. You've set the bar very high for yourself there. No, I get what you're saying, and because people forget this, Ross, is the atmosphere thing. There's a nostalgia around Liverpool in Europe. And there was an interesting interview with Erling Haaland, who we'll talk about in a moment, but he said like he's dead excited to come and play at Anfield because it's one of the greatest atmospheres, and I was a bit like, oh mate, you don't play for Barcelona, and it's not the knockouts, so this might not live up to all your expectations, but we have to remember this at times, that it doesn't just happen. It's not an automatic thing. I've been to plenty of Champions League games at Anfield when the atmosphere's been crap. I remember playing Mars. Yeah, we'll go, exactly, yeah. I mean, Red Star, to be fair, didn't have any fans in the ground last year, which should have helped, but didn't. I was losing to Marseille years ago. We lost 1-0 to them, and it was diabolical. So we need to, treat this night with, and every European night with pomp and circumstance, but you're right, it's a weird game because you can't afford complacency here, because in inverted commas, it's okay to lose to Napoli away from home because that's your toughest game, but it means that you've got to come to Anfield and you've got to go and put the business together.
But that's, again, extra incentive for fans to get behind the team. The fact that we've already lost one game, I think your home games, okay, you could argue the Napoli home game, that's where you pick up 9 points. That's where you try and see yourself through to the next round of the stages. Having had that game, it was okay. In fact, it was a good performance, just a crappy result. And I think, on paper, you're right, Napoli away is the hardest fixture you've got there. You expect Liverpool to go and win these games, but I think even last season, it's like a team effort between the fans and the players at the minute, isn't it? And that's the same for the away games. Obviously, you went to Sheffield at the weekend and stuff like that. But I just don't think, like you said, everything that's coming into it, if they bring the European trophy out or not, is the return of Liverpool in Europe at Anfield. I don't see any other different than the fans making a hostile atmosphere.
Yeah, and they very much have to, because that's the thing, James, is that, as we said, Ross says, we got out of the group based on our home form. Yeah. It's the away form that needs to improve, but like, okay, it's a bit of an obvious point, but you still need the home form. You know what I mean? We need to just go out and make sure we do get these points back, no matter what. It's not important at this stage of the season, at this stage of the competition. It doesn't really matter how you win, just that you win.
Yeah, of course, with this game going into it, you just expect to win, don't you? I mean, I'm not going to lie, I went into the group stage thinking we were going to get all 18 points, and that was just me. Maybe the game that we've already played, maybe a draw or something, but that's just a game that you can't help. Obviously, it was just a freak, madness game. Yeah. And
I think we all felt we had the game in hand prior to
exactly. It wasn't like we were outclassed in any particular point. It was just simply a penalty decision that shouldn't have been a penalty. And
we played better than we did last season, come away with the worst result.
No, exactly.
yeah. But when you look at listen, it could be worse. We could be in a much harder group, because last year's group was much more difficult and we were able to scrape through and go on to win the thing. This year it is a lot more of an easier group stage, and you should be beating Red Bull Salzburg at home, realistically, when you're the champions of Europe.
I think what was interesting was watching the game against Genk, because it gave us a clearer picture, because we don't really know a great deal about either of these teams. Let's be perfectly honest, we're not European football experts, but Liverpool fans. 6-2 against Genk, and I'd mentioned earlier, Erling Haaland. He's got 17 goals in 10 appearances so far this season.
Yeah, he's done right, hasn't he?
When you consider his dad is Alf-Inge Haaland, who was I don't want to say agricultural, because it's probably not about doing him a bit of a disservice, but he was a defender, basically. He wasn't famed for being having an eye for goal. It already looks like his son's a little bit better at football than
I think
19 years old, 17 and 10.
I think the latest is that he's out. He didn't play against Genk. He didn't play the week. He had a win, didn't he? The weekend he didn't play. He was ill.
Massive fingers crossed.
Yeah, he's been sick. I was reading the quotes from the sporting director, said the doctor's going to check on him every day. But even if he plays, he's not going to have trained much. You know what I mean? So that's the thing. He's obviously their standout man. And what I've seen from bits of Salzburg is, I watched the Genk game, like condensed highlights kind of thing. They're like a Liverpool light. They run and press and hardy, and they move the ball quick. I think their manager even said, didn't he, recently, his quotes were like, it's a bit of a bad matchup for us because we're playing a team who does everything we do. They just do it a bit better than we did. Well, a lot better than we do it. So I don't think it's going to be an easy game. Actually, I think they're going to come and they're going to run, and they're going to hustle and harry. Again, that might suit us. If we can beat the press, then we'll be sound. But if we fall into a trap or whatever, then you never know. But yeah, I say, David, they're flying in their league, aren't they? Top again.
Comfortably top at the moment. 5 points. Well, 5 points clear at the top of the league, and here's me thinking that Liverpool, it's a close run thing in the Premier League, and I'm saying it's a piece of piss for them for 5 points clear.
Who's Austria's Man City? I don't know. Like, is it?
Yeah, I know very little about the Austrian League. I'll be fair. I was looking back down to it, and obviously my professional career and champ and footy manager means that I've heard of the likes of Sturm Graz and Rapid Vienna, of course. But I didn't know they had their own version of Wolfsburg, which was spelled slightly Like,
wrong.
Yeah, just wrong. But look, inevitably the focus is going to have to fall on us for this. And what do we do with this one, James, for you? Because we went full strength against Sheffield United. You know, we rotated heavily for the midweek game in MK Dons. We brought all the big lads back in. Leicester still to look ahead to at the weekend. I know we've got the international break off the back of this, so there's a case where you can just go strong twice and just say, right, lads, take a bit of a break then or whatever. I wonder whether this is a game where we might see an Naby Keita start this game or whatever.
I think that'd be quite a good thing, to implement those type of players like Oxlade-Chamberlain as well, just to see a few more minutes from them essentially. Even James Milner, who had a great game against MK Dons, it'd be good to get in game time. It's these type of games that you do need to implement these players, because you do need to rotate your team. You do, like it's just ends off, especially in a game where you can. It's a home game. You've got your fans there. We're usually very, very good at home. It's a game that you can kind of afford, regardless how good Salzburg are, because they are obviously a good team. That's a good result against Genk. They're smashing it in their own league, regardless of the level that it's at. It's just going into it, making sure that you've got the right setup there, the way you're going to play, and also giving these players a chance as well, like Naby Keita and Oxlade-Chamberlain.
I think, Ross, Jürgen's desperate to rotate, and he wants to rotate that midfield, and he's been hamstrung by the fact that Keita's not been fit, and Oxlade, we're still working Oxlade-Chamberlain back up to match fitness, aren't we? And he clearly likes Lallana, doesn't he? And I think he does want Lallana involved, but he's not. There's a little drop off at the minute. I don't know where he quite fits in. I'm not sure this is the game, but he could surprise us. The point is now that all three of those lads should at time of recording be fit and available. They've all got a few more minutes in the legs than they've had previously. This week we're best placed this week, I should say, to rotate the midfield.
Yeah, it's always difficult, isn't it? Because you don't want to upset rhythm, which there was lack of at the Sheffield United game, but you still those three that are on the board up there, Fabinho, Hendo and Gini, they've been the core of our midfield. And also, you've got to have one eye on Leicester at the weekend as well, which is going to turn out to be a huge game. You've got to run someone into the ground. I know Hendo came off towards the end of Sheffield United. Is that a sign that he might start this one, maybe, and turn in? But I'm quite confident in the fact that James Milner is a really good point of, he's got that experience and nous that you kind of need. I think in this game, so I'd have him in. If you're going to rotate anyone out, and probably Gini, because I think he can be hot and cold sometimes. Yeah. Although he just all the dirty work and he doesn't get the praise for it. But then with Leicester's midfield, I'd be looking to put him in there.
Sorry, you put Gini in the midfield for Leicester.
You got
I mean, look, I tell you what, we'll save this for preferred 11s in a moment, because I think it's the interesting discussion to have from there. Before we move on with that, of course, make sure you check out the Around the League podcast. It's on the redmentv.com in full, but here's a little clip.
They unveiled a great banner against racism at Goodison on Sunday, and AC Milan, the Twitter account, picked up on that. Obviously, one of the Italian teams in Serie A, but obviously Italian football at the moment in particular is under fire for racism among fans. But they quote tweeted the tweet and said, "The world of football should take a strong stance against racism. Let's keep fighting it together." The banner really was a touch of class from Everton. Ross, I thought it was really good.
Yeah, it's a shame, actually, the fact that they have to go and make that and bring it out and show the support, but it just kind of a state in the society we live in at the moment. It's not just him. It's like you said before, the whole of Italian football. It's kind of mixed signals from them, isn't it? Because you got, was it the Inter-Ultras come out and say, we're doing that just to intimidate them. You got players like Bonucci who defended. Was it? Lukaku.
It was Lukaku at Caligari.
Yeah. But and then prior to that, Bonucci was defending fans of one of the players being racially abused, and just thinking, make your mind up what you want to do. And I think that was what you said before. I think that is a cultural thing over there. I think that's just a difference to being over here.
The thing that's bad though is he's a 19-year-old kid. He probably just wants to come over and find his feet in footy, and it's a great gesture from Evertonians that it shouldn't be taken away from that good. It shows solidarity with the young lad, but I'm sure he just wants to get on and play a bit of footy, because this is the problem. It shouldn't be an issue. It's sad that we have to exist in a world where we have to people have to come out and support. It should just be a non-issue. It shouldn't exist, should it? Yeah. It's going on to 2020. You know what I mean? We are in the future. by all accounts, we're in the time of so many science fiction movies right now, and yet we still, we're in the dark ages in so many ways. And it'd be nice. Hopefully now that's done. Everton fans are behind him. Hopefully a bit of a groundswell and what have you, and he can just as a young lad go back to playing his footy and proving any people who've decided they don't like him wrong by being good on the footy pitch. Yeah, check that out. It's on the redmentv.com in its full every single week with a little bit of a Liverpool biased look at what's happening around the league. The looks on the faces, no, we're not biased, not Liverpool biased.
I try my best every week. I just can't help it.
What it's thoroughly enjoyable, because I did it last week, is it's largely looking at what's going wrong at Man United this week. So if you want a show in your life that basically looks at how crap Man United are, in addition to all the amazing Liverpool content we do, then the Around the League.
And Everton this week as well.
And the F.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
tasty.
Amazing. Okay, let's talk about what we're going to do with this team then. Is anyone doing anything out the ordinary? You know, and by out the ordinary, I mean, is it time for Ox or Davis to come into the team?
Yeah, so I think the fact that we lost to Napoli means we have to win this game, which I think dictates a bit. So, same front three, same back four. Fabinho has to play for me. I would go Milner, Chamberlain.
Okay.
I think Salzburg will run and run, and I think they really will. And I think 2 sets of fresh legs, and then it might be that you take them both off. They can both, whatever. That's what I would do. I think that Sheffield game was our graft. There is the Leicester game upcoming. I think it makes sense that Milner hasn't played since. Obviously, come on, didn't he do they? Sorry, but he hasn't played too much. So, I would say get him in there with and I think you need Chamberlain to play. Mm-hmm. I think he needs minutes badly. He needs minutes, and he needs minutes to centre mid.
Yeah, the 2 minutes that he got at the weekend aren't probably adding to his overall level of match fitness.
He needs, and you know what? He needs games, and I think this is a good time to get him games. In that, again, I don't want to underestimate. Like Salzburg can do a job.
It makes I don't know enough about them to be able to determine who's the better side here. It's probably because they're in the Champions League. It's Salzburg and they're top of their league. But I don't know how to rank the quality of the Austrian league. But what they've got, of course, James, is look, they are in their own bubble. They're the best of the best.
Yeah.
So they're going to carry themselves like a best of the best team. Yeah. So this is going to be a proper top quality. They'll probably come and give it the best possible go.
Yeah.
So. I mean, if you were to given the choice, and there's such a thing as a stronger Liverpool side, are you going stronger for this, or are you going stronger for Leicester?
I'm going stronger for Leicester, like 100%, because I feel like the Leicester game, I feel like Leicester are a better team than Salzburg first off, and I feel like that's an important point in itself, because if you're going to play, if you're going to have a weaker opposition team and a stronger opposition team, you want to go with your strongest 11 for the stronger opposition side. Do you know what I mean? If I see Leicester go up against Salzburg, I'm expecting Leicester to win. Could I be wrong? Okay. Very certainly could. I most likely am. But that's just what I think straight off, and therefore that's why I would like to see players like Milner implemented into this game, the change of the midfield, maybe even 1 or 2 changes to the back and the attack and front.
Are we that much worse with Milner, Oxlade-Chamberlain,
well,
Henderson?
That's it. It's not much worse. It
isn't though. It's not like it's not Robertson for Moreno last year. You know what I mean? It's not a huge.
And it's about
drop.
time we need to see these players come into the team, because it's always a big question mark on all these players because they're injured.
Yeah.
It's about time we actually see what are these players actually like in a consistent
I wouldn't
be
shocked if Origi play started.
Yeah, I was thinking that before.
I think he looks after Firmino. He tries to look after Firmino as best as he can. He tried to give him a rest. A couple of weeks ago against Newcastle didn't work, and then he hasn't had Origi since, so he's had to flog him a little bit. I wouldn't be shocked if he did that, because.
But would you be putting Origi from the left
and stick man up front? Maybe I don't know. I wouldn't, but I wouldn't be surprised.
It's not worked as well this season.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Klopp did it. Having said that, he really in the Champions League he's often just picked his best team. Irrelevant of what's happening game before, game after, he'll just throw his best lads out and then say go twice.
I guess for me, Ross, it'll depend on how ready Keita is now, and it's whether Keita's better off with 20 minutes, half an hour off the bench here, and then you start against Leicester. I mean, to be fair, different manager, different situation, of course, but he plays against Leicester at the start of the last season, doesn't he? So they're not unfamiliar opponents to Naby Keita or whatever. And similar with Oxlade-Chamberlain, we just don't know. Someone's got a spreadsheet somewhere that's got a bunch of percentages and all that, and it tells you what you need to know and how available Oxlade-Chamberlain is for this. I'm really struggling with it. They're both too important. And if I had to edge it slightly, the Leicester one is, because I just don't want to thought. I think you want to go into that international break unbeaten. With the 100% win record, I think that's much more important. but equally you can't afford to drop points. It's head fucking me. I don't know.
I think James is right. I've seen James both. Right. I don't think the drop off of putting Milner in there is bad at all. I think having that fresh injection of legs, and like I said before, like his experience and his now, so he's got. I think that's good. Like you said, the problem with Keita and Chamberlain is we only take them on face value, so we don't know how good they are. And to me, like I'd love to put them in, but then I go, oh, is that a risk?
So are you taking Henderson out for this one?
Genie.
Just Milner.
Because
I agree, because I don't think that's a mad change. But is that enough? Is that enough?
Go with the Brexit midfield for this.
Oh yeah, bring it, Genie.
But that's not a bad thing. But then if you say, for example, if you go 2-3 goals up, then you start rotating people and giving people rest. You look at your front three and say, actually, Bobby, you can come off. Want you fresh for Wednesday? I just think the drop off for Milner isn't bad. I don't think, because in the job that he does, I mean, what Genie does is, Henderson probably is the same, isn't it? So you just swap in.
But you're talking there today about Milner and
I'd do two of them, yeah.
And is that? Yeah, I mean, like, there's nothing wrong with it individually, but I wonder whether.
This caveat is that Chamberlain's fit to play, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm presuming he is. He's been on the bench and he's had game minutes. It's just because they work so hard that midfielder has to do so much, and to ask them to do it I'm convinced Wijnaldum, Henderson play against Leicester. Like, I'd be amazed if they don't fitness, if they're not injured. So to ask them to go 3 games in a week, to go Saturday, Wednesday, Saturday, I think that's hard graft for them too. So I think I don't think there's anything wrong with freshening those two up in a home game against a team that, again, good team, but a team we look to be beaten. It depends on what.
Is that a big ask of Chamberlain now? I don't think suggesting he's like
of course it is.
But if
it is.
They're a team that run. Someone's come back from a big injury.
At some point, mate, he's got to go.
Yeah.
He's got to go. He can't. How long have you got the kid gloves on him for? It might be that he gets an half. You might have to whip him at half time. But at some point, we need to know where this lad's at. And again, the fitness staff know more than us. But I thought he looked quite sharp against MK Dons in terms of.
He got sharper, didn't he?
Yeah, he worked his way into the game. So I'm not sure at the minute what 20-minute cameos are going to do for that lad. At some point, he needs to just play. I think Keita looks like he may be further behind, which is odd in terms of where he's at, because he's in and out, in and out, in and out. Chamberlain just looks like a lad who needs game times in him. You can easily give him an hour, and if it's not, give him 45, and if his legs fall off, Sam, you've got Henderson, you've got Wijnaldum, you've got all the subs in the world on your bench. You've got more midfielders than you need. I think it's about time that we have a look at him and just see where he is. Because again, he's not going to start against Leicester, and then he's going to go off and he's going to go with England, and you just don't know what you're going to get.
Yeah.
I think it makes sense to try and get him in, and I think we mentioned before about the goals from midfield. I'm not bothered because we've won every game in the league, so I'll be picking hairs, but I would like to see a little bit more drive in midfield. And everyone's talking like it's going to be Naby Keita, and it should be Naby Keita because he's the £50 million fella from Germany. But at the minute, I've got more confidence in Oxlade-Chamberlain than Keita doing that.
For me, I'd be looking at, I think Henderson having been pulled at the weekend means he's almost certain to start this game.
What time was that? It was like an hour, was it?
Yeah, it's like an hour.
Yeah, maybe, yeah, I suppose.
So for me, I'd be changing one. I think we need a little bit more. And because you're at home, I think we can afford to go a little bit braver. So for me, I'd be putting Keita in. I'd be taking Wijnaldum out. I'd be putting Keita in.
Is he fit? Is Keita fit?
If he's fit. A big caveat on that. If he's fit and available, I would, because I want it.
Was he on the bench? He wasn't on the bench.
He wasn't on the bench the weekend, and you don't know whether that's an ill adverse, from playing at MK Dons or what have you. But I'd rotate one, and I think in this instance, because Henderson's fit, you're playing for this. If you can bring Keita in, you do bring Keita in. If not, Milner, sound, and then you flip it at the weekend. You put Henderson on the bench, and you bring Oxlade-Chamberlain because he's more that right side midfielder anyway, isn't he? And then you bring Wijnaldum, whoever you rest on the left hand side, whether it's Wijnaldum or if Milner doesn't play, you then play them for that game for me. Anyone else going with the Origi shout?
Yeah, I think that's actually quite a good shout myself. Origi coming in, don't think that'd be a bad thing at all. I would like to see him actually get some minutes, but like a good 60-70 minutes, not just coming on for the last 20. I think he has something to offer in that aspect. I also think it's a good chance for maybe even like Salah, because listen, Salah, yeah, as much as I feel like he's crucial to play every game, I do think it would be alright to give him just a little bit of a rest and see how the other three would do, because I feel like Salah's always there. I feel like he's always in that. That's a problem.
He never gets, you never rotate Salah.
I never really see Salah out the team. It's either Bobby will sit out or Mane will sit out. I feel like maybe this time, let's see what Origi do come in.
I think that the problem with this, Ross, is that we talk about it. None of these lads will want to be rotated for the Champions League. That's, the boss is going to have a big job on his hands convincing one of them that, I'm sorry, because they'll look, that's the thing that lives through the ages. You know, your goals in the Champions League, that record, being up there. Mane and Salah in particular will be desperate for it. And, you know, Bobby Firmino, he just wants to play every game, doesn't he? So,
I don't think he will do that, but I think he'll go his front three. He'll be the front three, I think. He needs to win this game. No, anything less than a win, yeah.
It's a bit
and then the group is looking a little bit dicey. You're sitting on what? Say you get a draw, you're on one. There's a good chance. So Napoli are probably going to be on 6. And then Salzburg on 4, and then you've got to go to Salzburg. That's no battle of laughs, is it really?
No,
it's a game where Klopp knows that he has to win it. So I think he will go with the proper front three.
Okay, then rival fixtures this week. Spurs taking on Bayern Munich. Woo! City host Dinamo Zagreb. City host 3 points in the group. Wednesday, obviously Napoli's the early kick-off that day. It's 5 to 6 half time. Barca Inter should be a belter, and Lille host Chelsea as well. Ross, our game then, score prediction, what do you think?
2-0.
James?
4-1.
3-0.
I've got a 2-0, 3-0. If it's a 3, I can see it being like we've made substitutions and like Origi scores the third to kind of wrap it up. But I'll take it 2-0, yeah. A nice solid.
Take a 1-0 with their goalie.
Well, God, whatever.
With their goalie throwing it in if you have just by hook or by
The most important thing is that how you go about doing it, and hopefully not exerting ourselves.
What I mean, if you win, mate, and then you get ganked back to back, all of a sudden you can be on 9 points.
Yeah.
And things look a lot rosier, don't they?
Yeah,
so.
This game, though, it's important. I think how we start this game is important because we've got so much that order. And I keep saying this, and it's going to be a rather repetitive theme. Go and get this game won. Go start fast, start strong. Try and get this game won as early as possible. And I think they'll look at it and go, yeah,
our home European
points
record's
to be
great,
elsewhere. Yeah.
Our home record in Europe's pretty outstanding. Like we had the 1 draw against Bayern last year, wasn't it? But everyone else came and
Just got smashed.
Or got beat anyway. So
more of that, please.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Absolutely. Let me know your score predictions in the comments section underneath. Then, who do you think should start for the mighty Reds? Don't forget to go and check out the Around the League podcast on the redmentv.com. That is an absolute belt, and it's there every week, along with the midweek Final Word show. So you'll have seen the Final Word show and podcast for the Sheffield United game. The one for this game will be on the website, as well as the instant match reaction, which is 10 to 15 minutes after every single game in the immediate aftermath. Crystal's stats and tactics. It's brilliant. It's great value for money, and it's free for the first month. So go to the website, theredmentv.com, and check it out. Gentlemen, thank you very much. Enjoy the game, everyone. We'll be back post-match. Ta-ra.